Welcome to today's episode, where we're diving into an incredibly thought-provoking idea. What if we could truly reduce the number of people in hardship, especially those relying on welfare, by shifting the way we think about charity and social services?
That's a big question, and it challenges a lot of what we've been taught about welfare. For example, donating money to heart disease foundations, does it really make a long-term impact?
Exactly. You'd think it helps, but it doesn't really address the root cause of the illness. The number of heart disease patients keeps rising, despite all the donations. It's almost like we're just putting out fires instead of preventing them from starting.
And that's where the new paradigm comes in. If we start asking why people are getting sick in the first place, whether physically or emotionally, then we can work on real solutions. It's not just about giving money, but understanding the causes behind these problems.
Right? And think about the disabled. More people are becoming disabled after World War II, even though the population only doubled. It's not that we've seen a sudden spike in accidents, but the lack of understanding about the deeper reasons behind these injuries. People are often stuck blaming others instead of reflecting on what went wrong.
That's a powerful point. When someone gets injured, like in a car accident, the immediate reaction is anger at the offender. But that doesn't solve anything. Instead, we need to help the injured person understand why this happened so they can heal emotionally and avoid making the same mistakes.
Exactly. And this approach isn't just about providing material aid, it's about offering enlightenment. Imagine a volunteer helping someone in a wheelchair. Instead of just feeling sorry for them, what if the volunteer learned about the person's journey, the mistakes they made, and the lessons they've learned?
That's a really interesting perspective. It's not just about the disabled person receiving help, but also about the helper gaining valuable insights. This gives both sides a chance to grow, an exchange rather than just a charity.
And it highlights how true welfare should function. If we only focus on treating symptoms, like giving financial aid, we won't reduce the number of people in need. True welfare is about education, about changing mindsets, and about addressing the root causes of suffering.
And it's not just about individuals either. The entire system needs to shift. If we continue to run welfare services the way we have without understanding the deeper causes, the number of people in need will only grow. We need to think bigger, social enterprises that help people on a broad scale, not just temporary fixes.
Yes, and that means the people providing welfare, like doctors, professors, and volunteers, need to start researching the causes of people's hardships. If they understand why someone is suffering, they can guide them through it, rather than just throwing money at the problem.
So we're talking about a shift in both thought and action. It's not about pitying people, but about educating them and helping them understand their own journey. This way, they don't just live with their struggles, they can overcome them.
And the volunteers, too, they would gain valuable insights into their own lives. They'd learn to live more consciously, seeing the real reasons behind their own actions. And if everyone understands why hardship happens, we'll naturally see a reduction in the number of people who fall into those situations.
It's kind of like a chain reaction. If we don't recognize the cause, we keep adding more to the system. But once we get enlightened, once we understand the true causes of hardship, the number of people needing welfare will begin to decrease.
That's the shift we need. A shift in perspective that looks beyond just charity and into meaningful, lasting change.
And it starts with educating the people who are already in need. When they understand their hardships and learn from them, they can pass that knowledge along. The volunteers will become students, and the people they help become teachers.
It's all about breaking the cycle and creating a society where people don't just survive, they thrive. That's the real goal of welfare, and that's the change we need to see.
It's a big task, but it's a start. As more people begin to understand, we'll start seeing real progress. It's time to rethink the entire system.
And with that, let's leave our listeners with a question. What can each of us do to understand the true causes of the hardships we see around us? And how can we help create that shift in perspective?
Something to think about. Thanks for joining us today. We'll continue this discussion in the next episode.